cool, cloudy, breezy morning here in Sarasota, Florida, where we are at the Sarasota Polo Club for the 2012 USA Ultimate Club Championships. 60 teams in 4 divisions and NGN coverage all weekend long. I'm Kyle Weisbrod here with Topher Davis for our first game of the weekend, a mixed division game between the Polar Bears in blue and Bucket out of Atlanta, Georgia in white. Topher, tell us a little bit about this Polar Bears squad.
Yeah, the Polar Bears RAR out of San Francisco, California in the Bay Area. They are in their 3rd year. So far, they've been doing well as a program. Their first year of playing, they won the championships back in 2010. Last year, they were in finals and lost to that other San Francisco Bay Area team, Blackbird. This year, they come in their first time ranked as a #1 seed, ready to prove to themselves that they are ready to get back into that final spot and take it to the mixed division, improve every tournament, as their captain was telling us before the game.
So Bucket here in white to pull. That's number 41, Noah Eden, formerly of Truck Stop and Chain Lightning. First year on Bucket. Breeze is moving a slight right to left. Polar Bears heading downwind. Bucket starts out with a bit of a junk defense. Polar Bears with a shot early. They have a receiver. Body there by
Lucas Dahlman counting the foul, claiming Ryan Archibald came into him on the throw. We're going to get another look at that on the replay. And observers are coming in. Archibald getting in front, using his body. And the observer ruling, first ruling by our men in orange, calling it no foul.
So the guys in orange today, Andrew Burmeyer, the one making the call, Hank Carey, the other observer, and Bucket now gets their first possession of the game. Travel called on Archibald.
It's probably one of those not ground tapping it coming out of the end zone travels.
One thing to look for this weekend, I think, is the observers. The observers have been taking a lot more active role this season. USA Ultimate has kind of got their observer committee together. They've talked about it some and decided they want to implement the observer system and the misconduct system the way it was designed to be implemented. Here's a shot. That's Espino with the grab. Bucket about 25 yards outside the end zone, going upwind. Taylor Nylon with the disc. Nylon out of University of Georgia. Pick call downfield.
Nylon, the one who sent the huck upfield. Bucket going to try to do a lot of long passes. They're known for their deep game, and here in the wind, they definitely want to have that field position.
So Archibald with the break mark throw to the end zone, hits the ground, but calls a foul, so this one's coming back to Archibald on the goal line. Fakes the backhand, cross to the forehand, over the receiver's head. And Polar Bears right back at it.
When sails too far, hits the ground just in front of the end zone line. Polar Bears, 2 deep shots, none of them successful. But they're really making Bucket work the full 70 yards. Bucket just outside the goal line, and they have a throwing error in the wind. Polar Bears probably hoping for something, a turnover a lot shorter, give themselves that small field to work with.
Pick called again. Bucket working out of center stack here. Break to Eden. Eden around to Olsen. Reset back to Eden. And this one sails over Espino's head. Polar Bears with another shot. This to Scott Roeder. And Roeder with the backhand. Receiver cutting under though. That one's going to sail harmlessly to the ground. Looks like some early morning jitters here, Topher. That's the 4th turnover from Polar Bears this point.
Yeah, first point of the game at a big tournament and a win that maybe they weren't expecting. I expect later in this game both teams are going to calm down a little bit. For now, this is kind of a mental thing. Which team can stay focused in the first point and really grind it out? If it's going to turn into a long game of just hitting unders until someone is able to get their shot.
Nice inside break there to Espino. That's the backhand sideline. Bucket's lacking aggressive cutting downfield, looks like to me right now. There just doesn't seem like there's a lot of people making moves downfield. Almost all their movement is from the reset position. Nice IO break. Out to Archibald. Archibald to Eden.
Wow. Fantastic foot block. That's Eli Kearns getting his big foot in there, stopping the disc about midway through the field.
And Polar Bears on the board first. Lucas Dahlman with the goal.
And the Polar Bears score.
After a long point, several turnovers on both sides.
Oh, so seeing on the replay, I thought it was a foot block. It looked like it just slipped out of the Bucket player's hands as he was going to throw it, maybe trying to pull it back.
And I think Noah Eden had just went to fake that forehand and tried to pull it back, and it just came out of his hand. Eden, a first-year player for this Bucket squad. He was saying, we actually ran from the airport last night, and Noah was saying that he needs to learn the players' names on his team. He's only played 2 tournaments with them so far, Chesapeake Invite and regionals. Not unusual for Bucket. Bucket is a team that doesn't do a lot of practicing. So almost every year at Nationals, they have to do introductions because there's somebody that players haven't met yet. Kind of the opposite of this Polar Bear squad. The Polar Bear squad, a practicing, very committed mixed team. It's why they are a team that earns the 1 seed here at the club championships. Greg Marliov with the pull, going upwind. Bucket and White coming downwind. Victor Wu with the disc. You see the disc in the hands of Victor Wu a lot. He's got big forehand. He takes a shot here down to Tree Goforth. Perfect shot, drops right into Goforth's hands.
That is classic Atlanta offense. One pass and immediately going for the huck. Again, that offensive point kind of going downwind. So Bucket, already a team known for taking the deep shots, but in a blustery game like this, they're definitely going to push those throws a little bit more, give themselves the field position. And when you have a big 6'4" receiver, it's something I would take a lot.
Taylor Goforth, one of the players on this Bucket team with some chain lightning experience. He's 6'6", and he uses the height well. You can see him, he's got inches on pretty much everybody else on the field out there. Out of Kennesaw State, also played a little mixed division with a rival before playing with chain lightning. So the Bucket D-line takes the field again, and the Polar Bears offense. A couple pairs of siblings on this Bucket line. You got John Stubbs and India Stubbs, brother and sister of the more recognizable George Stubbs, player for Ironside out of Boston. Colin Belair with the pull. Colin, another pickup from Chain Lightning. He's been playing for Bucket for 4 years now.
Horizontal stack in the middle of the field. Bucket playing man-to-man. They had a zone look last point.
Out to Pitcatley. Pitcatley with a shot. And drops that one in for AJ Shankar. 2-1, Polar Bears with the lead. Pitcatley, the backhand there, She's a player we're going to see a lot of on this Polar Bears team. She's key to their offense, and a great smooth backhand throw from her.
So far, Lisa Picathley owning the fantasy points. 2 assists in their Polar Bears 2 points.
Lisa Picathley with another great throw to the end zone. Hey, it worked, Lisa.
The second and third points in this game going a lot smoother for both teams in the first.
Bears 2, bucket 1.
So winds all weekend predicted at around 20 to up to 30 miles per hour. It's going to make for an interesting tournament. Some strategic decisions these teams are going to have to make, especially both of these teams that have historically relied on their man-to-man defense. You have to make decisions about do they keep going with that man, or do they run out some junk, some zone defensive sets to force teams to make a lot of throws in this wind.
Rico Pialvo to goal for Polar Bears.
Federico Chialvo with the disc for the pull. Lots of hang time. Victor Wu's going to step up and pick it up. Again, Goforth going deep. And another shot. And another Taylor Goforth goal.
Number 22, Paul Schraft to the end zone for 3.
Schraft with the assist. Paul Schraft from another chain lightning pickup from bucket. They really like that big receiver Goforth.
Goforth, that point was being guarded by Polar Bears' Simon Higgins. Simon Higgins, one of the new players for Polar Bears, and also one of the youngest players. I believe he's 19 in his second year of college at LPC in California. I'm sure it's not going to take very long for him to realize he needs to get on top of a big 6'6" receiver in an upwind, downwind game and force him under. Bucket's offense so far has no turnovers.
Very smooth, and both points only 2 throws.
Noah Eden to pull for bucket.
So last night when I was speaking to Eden, he also wanted to give a little shout out to his mom, Liz Frazier. Eden with the disc here. Pull is up. Polar Bears centers out of a horizontal. Nuaro in the middle of the field. They call him Robot. And here's a shot. Nice forehand touch on that one, drops right into Nuaro's hands.
Lucas Dahlman with the put into
Assist
the
from
end zone.
Dahlman.
Robot pulls it in for the Polar Bears score. Bears 3, bucket 2.
So after a sloppy first point, that's 4 straight points here without a turnover. Both teams settling into their Sarasota game plan.
Interesting looking at this Polar Bear defensive line. Except for maybe
The goal for Polar Bears.
Greg Marliov. They don't seem to have a very tall line. You would expect them to make an adjustment on, the big 6'6" Taylor Goforth.
So this time Goforth not isolated on the pull. Schraft is the one isolated. Adrian Teska can't come up with that one. So Polar Bears are going to get their first break opportunity here, going upwind. Clay Miller picks up the disc for Polar Bears, marked by Victor Wu. Nice space pass. Continue to the far backhand sideline. And a break mark throw for the goal. Clay Miller with the goal, number 9. Greg Marliop with the assist. And Polar Bears with the first break of the game to take a 2-point lead, 4-2 over Bucket.
Yeah, that's got to be really nice for Polar Bears. Getting their first turn on offense, or on their defense, and punching it in, no problem. When their defense finally gets rolling, that's a huge momentum shift for the team. Everyone starts to get behind the game, get into the game a little bit more when they realize they get their first break.
That is a big point here, especially converting off that first Bucket turnover. I mean, it's got to give the offensive line confidence for Polar Bears. They know that their defense can get it done. And it's got to give their defensive line confidence in their offense. That's what Polar Bears did talk to us about at the beginning of the game, is that they're very patient with their defensive possessions. They want to be able to put those breaks into the goal, and that's what they did right there.
Riley out the pole for Polar Bears.
So now Bucket's O-line is going to have to work upwind to get that break and get their D-line back on the field. India Stubbs to catch the disc, up to Victor Wu. Polar Bears comes down man-to-man, looks like a straight-up mark, forehand now. Goforth comes underneath. Victor Wu working to get open the reset.
Wow.
Andrew Stringer picks up the reset. Stringer comes to Bucket from Johnny Bravo out in Colorado. Played in Colorado State. Schraft back to Stringer. Goforth under again. And now Goforth with a shot to Victor Wu. And right there, great shot from Goforth, showing he can get it done on both sides of the disc.
Taylor Goforth into the end zone for Victor Wu. And the Bucket
Yeah,
score.
great throw. He even had to like wait a little bit, maybe for Victor Wu to realize that he was open deep in the end zone.
I think that's a big reversal for both of those players in terms of their normal roles. Victor used to throwing those big scores. Goforth used to hucking it. But when he gets that many yards, and if Goforth has confidence in that forehand, so Bucket back on the board again, down by 1. 4-3, Polar Bears with the lead.
Number 41, Noah Eden, the pole for Bucket.
So the Polar Bears offense working upwind. We have a very similar line to what they've put up so far on offense. No Eden with the pull. Scott Roeder to catch it. Picks it up about 10 yards deep in the end zone.
Bucket coming out with a zone look.
Looks like a 4-person trapping cup here. Fortunate that forehand sideline. Nice little break out to Nuaro. Nuaro with a nice forehand. Ratty with the disc out to Roeder. Roeder with the backhand out wide.
Transition into man from Bucket.
Angiso with a nice pickup.
Those transitions in mixed ultimate can be tough, right? Getting the right gender matchups and the right player matchups out of a zone to a man look. Not always easy, and Polar Bears took advantage there and got a bunch of yards. Roeder with the disc. Lots of traffic. Ratty picks it up. Excuse me, Turco. And Turco puts it out of bounds. Nora unable to drag his feet and keep it in.
Polar Bears turn.
Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, Ratty puts it out of bounds.
Noah Eden to pick up for Bucket. Disc on the cone.
So Bucket has to work the full 70. Nylon with the disc, looking deep, pulls it back.
Bucket turn. On G to pick up for Bears.
Abby Hewitt unable to come up with that one. So Polar Bears another look on the offense with a shot outside the end zone. And a nice little backhand
Lucas
dish.
Dahlman into the end zone for Adam Ray-T.
That's Adam Ray-T with the
And
goal.
the Bears
And
score.
Lucas Dahlman with another assist.
Bears 5, Bucket 3.
Unfortunate drop for Bucket with their first defensive opportunity to get a break since that first point.
And going downwind at that, that's one they probably wanted to convert. So 5-3, Polar Bears with the lead early in the game.
Marley off the pull for Bears.
Greg Marliov with the pull. India Stubbs to receive. She lets it hit. It's going to roll out the back.
Just rolls out the
Victor
back
Wu's
of
going
the
to pick
end
it up
zone.
and walk it up to the middle of the end zone. To the end zone
Victor
line.
Wu to put it in play from the goal line.
Polar Bears comes down with a junk defense. They've got 2 women and a man in their cup. Portion to the backhand side. It's a very tight cup. They got 5 people within 15 yards of the disc right now. Challenging Bucket to get it out.
Marley steps in for the D.
Looks like Marliav steps in, gets the block. Schaefer tries to call strip, but looks like the observer overrules. So Polar Bears with an easy opportunity here. Forehand shot. And the catch and the break.
Number 58, Paige Turner.
That's Kevin Cox with the goal.
Kevin Cox pulls it in for the Bears score.
Kevin Cox first goal of the game. Player from
Bears
San Diego
6,
State
Bucket
University.
3.
And Polar
Paige Kircher with the assist. A nice grab there by Cox, able to pull that one down. So Polar Bears up 6-3.
Polar Bears have to feel a lot better, starting to get a little bit of cushion here in this game. Last year, we were filming the #1 seed from Mix in our first game, the Ghost taking on 7 Figures. And it was supposed to be Ghost's initial year at Nationals, a lot of talent on the team, and they ended up losing the game and really hurting their chances in the bracket play later on. Polar Bears, though, this isn't their first rodeo.
Marley off the pull for
They're ready to
Bears.
show what they can do on the field.
So Marliov with the pull. We'll see if Polar Bears goes with that zone look again that was effective for them. Looks like a man-to-man. Bucket and a vert stack. And a
Bucket turn.
miscommunication turnover there.
There was a pick called on the field, but I don't think it really affected the turn. You know, you always got to catch the disc on the pick, but in the stack, everyone had slowed down. It's one of those unfortunate errors that you wish you could get back.
Yeah, so Polar Bears now with a really great chance to break it open.
Foul call.
Get the 3rd break of the game going upwind.
Disc in on 0, no contest. Josh Warble on disc.
Colin Coyne with a shot to the end zone. And that's Pollock Shaw with the goal. And Polar Bears up 7-3. Working towards half. That's 3 breaks early, 2 in a row here.
Bears 7, Bucket 3.
And Bucket calls him out to regroup.
Timeout, Bucket.
On their timeout, we're going to take a timeout too. Be sure to catch all the action here in Sarasota on the Next Gen Network.
Welcome back to first half action here in the mixed division between Polar Bears and Bucket in white. Polar Bears going with a 3-point run into a Bucket timeout here, and they're up 7-3. Bucket struggling with some just normal throwing and catching problems here. Need to take a timeout to calm down some. Still early though, they still have a shot. Expect to see Polar Bears come back out with that zone defense again that was very effective for them 2 points ago. Big Blady pull, center up to India Stubbs. Polar Bears in a man-to-man. And Victor Wu with the disc. Pick downfield, is going to stop this one.
Discing on 0, Victor Wu with the disc.
Taylor Goforth coming underneath. Alicia Kramer working to get open. Can't come up with that one. Goforth's forehand dives into the ground. Polar Bears with another opportunity to break for half, but this one looks like it's coming back on a foul call.
Goforth calling the foul on the throw. It looks like it's uncontested. Stall count coming in at 0. Goforth being guarded by Ben Hubbard.
Counting on 0.
Schraft with the disc. Finds Wu. Wu looking deep. It's Colin Belair on the reset. Back to Schraft.
Polar Bears defense doing a great job keeping Bucket pinned on this flick sideline, and Victor Wu going deep.
Just out of reach of Goforth.
Disc is just out of the reach.
Bucket looking reluctant to look at their women on that one. Their men doing a lot of the work,
Results in a bucket.
forcing the turnover. Good defense from the Polar Bears.
Miller to pick up the disc for Bears.
Just a little too Blady there from Wu. Polar Bears in the horizontal. Polar Bears offense looking very smooth. Ben Hubbard with the disc.
Travel call.
Travel called on the sideline. Polar Bears with the possession to go into half with the break.
Keithley working underneath. This one looks like it's probably coming back on a strip call.
Uncontested
Adrian
foul.
Teska with the bid.
Discus staying here with
Another
lead
look
for
at it.
Keithley.
Pretty clear strip, uncontested. Keithley with the disc for half for Polar Bears.
Pick call.
Pick call downfield. Polar Bears at the brick mark. Hubbard with the disc. Easy backhand break to Cox. Observer ruling he was out of bounds. Schraff pick out the disc, looking deep right away, and puts it up. Has Goforth. Tough read over the shoulder.
It's a wide receiver catch right there.
Goforth runs down the disc.
And Goforth with a forehand to Teska, and Teska with another drop. Bucket really needed that one. Let's take another look at that one. Wide open Teska, a little bladey, but this is one that any receiver should catch. Just a clap catch, and Teska's not happy with that one.
Polar Bears, after working it so methodically downfield, turn it over on something as silly as not knowing where the out of bounds line is.
There's a look deep. Oh, Goforth comes in and gets the disc, gets the D.
Goforth on the D for Bucket.
Oh, a nice push by Keithley, but she can't come down with it. Schraff with the disc.
Foul called.
Very impressed by Goforth's play today. Doing it both of the receiver and a thrower, and right there, getting involved in the defensive mix.
Disc in on 0.
Colin Belair working upfield, in power position, no receiver. Teska coming underneath, able to hold on to that one. And Victor Wu coming to it, lots of pressure there.
Foul called.
Foul called on Clay Miller, not
Disc
contested.
is going to stay with Victor Wu.
Victor Wu with a forehand.
Ben Hubbard flying in front of the receiver.
Looks like Ben Hubbard got a piece of that in the end zone.
If you got a piece of it or not, that's certainly hard to catch as a receiver. Seeing your defender fly right in front of the field of vision.
Bucket just seems like they're forcing a lot of throws here, Topher. It's like the Polar Bear defensive line and their offense, very patient, very methodic, as you said. They're working it really well. They're taking good open shots. Here's one right here. And there it is. Polar Bears takes half, 8-3. Paige Kircher with the goal. It just seems to me like Polar Bears making smart choices when they're hucking to open receivers with good angles. Bucket looks like they're frustrated. They're taking shots that aren't necessarily open, and they're not getting the right touch on the disc a lot of time.
Yeah, it's got to be tough being the team that feels like they're the underdog. They're a very young team, the third youngest mixed team here in the tournament. And maybe not used to coming in here playing some big games, where Polar Bears certainly has that experience. Polar Bears experience shows up early as they take half, 8-3. We're gonna be taking our half too, and if you're watching the stream at home, be sure to check out the second half broadcast on YouTube. It's gonna be on a different page, so make sure you don't miss that.